Friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk everything about Japan. Friends, today I am going to tell you about the complete timeline for international undergraduate admissions in Japan universities for the April 2026 intake. That means Higher Studies in Japan Undergraduate Program 2026, a complete timeline. Before we begin with the timeline, friends, we have to understand that not all universities provide all fields of study in the undergraduate program. Not all universities and or programs follow the same timelines, that is the admission dates and all other dates throughout the year. Not all scholarships are applicable to all fields of study, to all the universities, to all the nationalities, and to all programs, that is undergraduate, master, and doctoral. So there are various kind of exclusions. Examinations like entrance examinations for Japanese university admissions, EJU, JLPT, or the English proficiency tests like TOEFL and IELTS may not be applicable for certain programs. Hence, every prospective applicant is advised to look for detailed information provided in the application guidelines of the program to get correct and authentic information regarding admission timelines, eligibility criteria, available and applicable scholarships, tuition fees, etc. This video will give you a general understanding about the entire process, but for the details and the exclusions applicable to your field of study or the program, you have to visit that particular university website and deep dive into the details as mentioned in the application guidelines. So now let us begin with the timeline of undergraduate programs in general that is going to start in April 2026. So in Japan, there are basically two intakes. One is the spring, which is April, and the other is the autumn, which is September, October. But the most preferred intake is the April intake. You can say that more than 80% of the students get into the courses in April and the remaining handful in September, October. So it is important, or it will be beneficial if you consider the April intake if you are planning to do higher studies in Japan. So for April 2026 intake, the preparations must begin 16 months in advance, that is in January 2025. When you find information, do some research about the universities, their various programs, fields of study, the requirement of EJU, that is examination for Japanese university admissions, the Japanese language proficiency test JLPT requirement, and requirement for English proficiency. So depending on where you are applying, there might be certain of these requirements, some may not be required. So you have to do the research during during this initial phase of your entire thing. This is in January 2025. If you are required to appear for EJU to be held in June 2025, then you must apply for that during February, March 2025. The scores of the test is released in July 2025. Now again, if you are required to do the JLPT, whichever level, that exam is held in July 2025, and hence you have to apply for that during March and April 2025. The scores of JLPT held in July is released in around September 2025. Then comes the next embassy recommendation application. This is done usually in April, May 2025, and also almost at the same time there is notification for Mitsui scholarship. So both of these you can apply during this April and May period. The Mitsui scholarship extends up to the end of June. So this is the first round of activities that one must take. Then during June and July 2025, the examinations of EJU, JLPT, TOEFL, IELTS, whichever is applicable, is undertaken by the candidate, because if these examinations are held twice a year, especially the EJU and JLPT. TOEFL IELTS you can take anytime, that is your personal, but EJU and JLPT are held twice a year, once in the June July period and the other one is November December period. So for getting a scholarship or increasing your chances of getting a scholarship, it is always better to appear for these examinations as early as possible. So instead of giving these exams in November December, it is better to give them the previous year during June July. So June July is the period when you take EJU and JLPT, whichever is applicable. Both may be applicable, both may not be applicable, so it depends on the program you are applying to. In July 2025, apply for EJU to be held in November 2025 if you have not already taken. So before that, friends, I have boxed these initial requirements because we are currently in towards the end of June. That means this phase has already passed. This phase has already passed. So if you have missed all of this, then no worries, because the direct university admission is still going to start. So is yet to start. So that's why there is you are maybe you are delayed for all this, but you are not you have not missed completely the 2026 April intake admissions. So in July 2025, this is the next step that you can do, which is apply for EJU to be held in November 2025 if you have not already taken in the June-July session. Scores will be released in December 2025. Now, most of you must have applied for the MEXT scholarship through the embassy recommendation of your own country. If you are not selected for MEXT 2026 embassy recommendation or the Mitsui scholarship, then you can start applying directly to the universities. So there is still hope left. You can directly apply to the universities. Some universities accept direct applications and some through JASO, that is Japan Student Services Organization. So this application period begins in August and it runs through November. So August through November 2025 is the period when you will apply directly to the universities if you are not selected for MEXT or Mitsui scholarship. In your application, indicate the requirement of financial aid for your studies in Japan. If you are selected for MEXT scholarship 2026 or Mitsui scholarship 2026, then you need not watch this video further and you have to follow the instructions provided by MEXT or Mitsui for the next steps. So they will be guiding you how to proceed with the next steps. And if you are not selected for MEXT or Mitsui, then you can have a generic understanding about the next steps from this video. Next, August and to October 2025. So this is the period when you are applying to various universities, and at the same time, after you submit your application, you can send your inquiries at that particular university about all the scholarships and fellowships that are applicable to you and how to take the process forward. That is how to take the scholarship application process forward. So they are going to guide you about how to apply for scholarships and for which scholarships they are going to nominate you. These scholarships are by university recommendation or nomination and hence cannot be directly applied by the student. Such scholarships include, but not limited to, Kyoritsu International Foundation Scholarship, which we just discussed in our previous video, then Sato International Scholarship Foundation, SGH Foundation Scholarship, Shoda Memorial Fund, Asia Student Scholarship Foundation, and there are several others, which are directly nominated or recommended by the university for you. So depending on your academic qualifications, they will set the ranking of all the students who have been offered admission, and then they will nominate you for these scholarships. So follow the instructions provided by the university for the available scholarships, and if you are nominated, then you need to take further action which will be instructed to you by the university. and you have to take the steps accordingly for applying to that particular scholarship for which you have been nominated. So you will not be nominated for all the scholarships. They will distribute amongst the students the various scholarships, and if you come in that merit list of scholarship, then your name will go to the particular scholarship foundation, and then the next steps will be taken by that foundation, and you may get finally selected for the scholarship. Then comes the month of September 2025. Again, apply for JLPT to be held in December 2025. Scores will be released in February 2026. So, for example, you have taken one JLPT in July and you are preparing for the next level so that you can apply in September 2025 and give the exam in December 2025. And if you missed to appear for JLPT held in July, then also you can apply for this test. So this is done in September 2025. In October 2025, the Rotary Yoneyama Foundation scholarship application will open. You can apply directly by going into their website, and we provided some information about that scholarship in our last video of this playlist. So you can refer to that video about Rotary Yoneyama Foundation scholarship. Then comes the process of document screening, written tests, interviews by universities and certain scholarship foundations. This is the period between October 2025 and January 2026. So these written tests, interviews, by these we mean some universities or some graduate programs may require their own entrance examinations other than EJU. So some universities may not consider your EJU scores, but they will conduct their own tests and interviews. So depending on which university and which program you have applied to, that may be applicable to you. And all your documents, screenings and all these things will be done during this period, both by the universities and by the scholarship foundations if your name has been nominated by the university for a certain scholarship. So October to January is the period when all these processes will take place. Then in November, December 2025, take the EJU, JLPT, TOEFL, IELTS, whichever is applicable, if not taken earlier or if it is necessary to take it again. During November 2025 and February 2026, so these months, this is the period when the admission results are announced by the universities and you get to know about the outcome of your application, whether you have been provided an admission or not. So these announcements begin in November, and subsequently the results of scholarships also are declared. This is usually during February, March 2026. So this is the thing, friends, that there is not enough time left after the announcement of the scholarship results to begin the academic year. That is, academic year begins in April 2026, but you will come to know about the decision on the scholarship only in February or March. So a very less time is left to take the final decision. And during February, March, you have to pay the first year tuition fee as well, and you have to get started with the visa process. Visa process doesn't take long because the university will provide you with the certificate of eligibility called COE, and if you show that COE to the Japan embassy or a consulate in your country, then within 7 to 10 days you will get the student visa. So visa is not going to take long. But the thing is, you have to pay the first year tuition fee at that time, and even if you are not offered a scholarship, then it's up to you whether you decide to proceed with the admission or not. So there are still some scholarship possibilities available, which we will see in the next slide. So April 2026 is the start of the academic year. So either Japanese studies from JASO 1 year or directly undergraduate studies if Japanese not needed. So this means for some courses, if they are taught in Japanese, then you will have to attend to Japanese classes for the first year. So first year you will not do any undergraduate studies at the university, but you will study Japanese at JASO. This is for the first year, and then your first year of undergraduate studies will start. That means you will take 5 years to complete your studies in Japan. 1 year Japanese and 4 years undergraduate studies. And if Japanese is not required, if you are in an English taught program, then it will be just 4 years of undergraduate studies at the university. Your monthly stipend, if you have been offered a scholarship, it begins in April 2026. Now, in April 2026, apply for post-arrival scholarships, such as JASO, once you have started your studies in Japan. So this is the thing, friends. If you are not provided with any other scholarship and you decided to accept the admission offer without scholarship and you start your studies in Japan in April 2026, then upon your arrival in Japan, you can apply for certain post-arrival scholarships. So the most important one among them is the JASO scholarship, that is scholarships given by the Japan Student Services Association, which consists of a monthly stipend. And also there are some university specific fellowships available for you, some tuition fee waivers or some other assistantships fellowships. So these are available, but is specific to the particular university and particular program you are enrolled in. So you have to explore all of these after you reach Japan, and you have to apply as applicable. During May 2026, the university will screen and nominate eligible students to JASO based on your CGPA, based on the top ranked applications, and based on your financial situation as well. So all these criteria will be taken into consideration for making you eligible for the JASO scholarship or any other university specific fellowships or fee waivers. So this is in May, and in June results will be announced by JASO whether you are going to receive a monthly stipend or not. If yes, then your monthly stipend will begin in July 2026. So that's why I said that even if you have not received any scholarship at the time of admission, it might happen that after beginning your course in Japan, you get this JASO monthly stipend, so which is also a good amount to cover your living expenses in Japan. And during your stay, you can keep exploring part-time in-campus jobs to get some financial support. You need to stay in touch with the student union, the various student welfare associations within the campus by reaching out to the professors, to the families of your maybe for example, if you are an Indian, then there will be Indian community, so you can reach out to those people, inquire at the administrative offices about the jobs that are available on campus and how to manage the expenses. So all these you will get to know once you are there. So in this way your studies goes on, and 1 year, after 1 year, that is in March 2027, if you have been studying Japanese, then your Japanese course at JASO will end in March 2027. And then your undergraduate course will begin in April 2027, and that will get finished in March 2031. And if you are not required to take the Japanese course, then your undergraduate course will finish in March 2030. End of 4 year undergraduate degree course of the university. So friends, this is the timeline. That is the timeline that begins in January 2025 with the preparations. If you are selected, you accept the admission offer, then your studies will end either in March 2030 or in March 2031. So I would suggest that you keep screenshots of these 2 3 slides so that you understand when to do what action, which action you need to take at what point of time. So this is all about undergraduate programs for the April 2026 intake. Now, if you think that it is too late for you to go for April 2026 intake, then you can go ahead with 2027 April 2027 intake and start your preparations right away, although it is mentioned in January. So it will be for 2026, it will be January 2026. for April 2027 intake. This translates to January 2026. These are all 2026. But still, since there is still time left for January, don't wait for January. Start your preparations right away and follow all these steps and get selected. Do your best and get selected for an undergraduate program in Japan. So friends, that's all for now. I hope this video has been beneficial to you as it gives an overall idea of how the admission process works in Japan for international undergraduate admissions. Likewise, we will soon bring you a video on the timelines of postgraduate admissions, that is master and doctoral courses, and we will provide you a similar timeline. So things are pretty much different when it comes to postgraduate admissions, so we will have a separate video on that. So do subscribe to this channel if you found this channel informative, and stay tuned for our next informative video on higher studies in Japan. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.